Things are shaping up here for Halloween. Wouldn't you say, Dexter? Yeah, they should subscribe if they want to see more videos. What about you, Miris? Don't give me that look. Well, I guess all that's left is to find a game to play. Okay, let's see what we got here. No, not that one. What's this? Musya? The classic Japanese tale of horror? Yeah, it's got horror in the title, so I guess that'll work. Hey friends, I'm Pragmatik, and I like to talk about video games. And the game I want to talk about today is Musya, the classic Japanese tale of horror. Now, honestly, I don't know much about this game. I remember beating it when I was young, but that's about it. So instead of me talking about it, let's go play it. Let's do this!
Musya was developed by Seta, a company that I don't believe was known for too much. Interesting enough, if I read this correctly, the Japanese version of this game was developed by a different company, so that's interesting. You play as Emoto, a pikeman that survived a grueling battle only to collapse near a village. The residents take him in, and their mayor tells them that they guard the gates of the abyss. Did Japan have mayors? I don't think so. Unfortunately, their priestess Shizuka has been taken into the gates and hasn't returned. Without her, the gates can't be sealed, so it's up to you to dive into the depths of the abyss and save the priestess. And that's pretty much it.
Sounds simple enough.
The controls in this game are surprisingly tight. Your jump arc is solid, and you've got a lot of moves. A high jump, up and down stabs, a spin attack, and you can do this. The enemies have attack patterns you kinda had to figure out, kind of like Castlevania. But you can also get power-ups and even enhancements to increase the range of your weapons. Kind of like Castlevania. Basically, this is like if Castlevania moved from Europe to Japan. Sometimes you'll get a power-up that gives you invincibility or stronger attacks, while others give you a special move.
Now these abilities are great because enemies can really surround you if you're not careful, but it doesn't go much further than that, and I'll get to that in a second.
So far, we've got past the first level, and hey, there she is! That was quick. Oh wait, no, it's the first boss. Now, like I said, those power-up moves are helpful, right? So you think they'd be good against the bosses? Not so much. Aside from the first boss, your special moves don't typically work on them. So you want to really keep them to progress through the level instead of saving them for bosses.
So not being able to use abilities on the bosses should make the game tougher, right? Well, it would, if they weren't so easy.
Each boss kind of just has a spot you can exploit and move on. The first fight is literally just running and stabbing. But with that, we move on to the next stage. I really like the second stage. It's got a lot of risk to it, with unknown twists and turns. Shame it ends with the easiest boss in the game. And then we're on to stage 3. This level. It goes like this. Basically, you've got two choices, up or down. Going down gets you assaulted by living statues and this ogre thing. Or you can try to go up, which leads to nothing and is basically a lie. So living statues it is! What you're supposed to do is search for these statues with the glowing eyes to end the level. Each enemy seems to stem from Japanese lore, which is a big plus. You have your Tanuki, your Kappa, and your Wisp, and your... What is that? I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is at all.
Some horror game, there aren't even any skeletons in this game! I know, right? What a wasted opportunity.
We get to the third boss and do this number, and then this happens.
Don't get too excited. This could be another trap.
Except this time it isn't. Halfway through the game, you find Shizuka and rescue her. And as a reward, she enhances your spear and gives you some sweet new armor. I love this in a game. This nice sense of progression in which you feel like you become stronger. Except, it doesn't really seem to do much. Your spear is a little stronger, but it's not a dramatic change, and you take the same amount of damage you used to. So it doesn't feel like much has changed. And speaking of things not changing, this area should look familiar because it's level 1!
Unfortunately, this is the part of the game that gets a little bit lazy.
Instead of making new levels, the game decides to rehash the same 3 levels you just beat. The only difference being more enemies and different bosses. Well, this one doesn't seem too bad. Oh no, it's Nerd Slime! Then we get to this boss, the Kappa I mentioned once before. He's not hard by any means, he just takes so long to beat. He emerges from the water, does this, and then slowly submerges back into the water. You hop up here to avoid, and then you have a 2-second window to do some damage. If you don't have the one move to help attack him, this takes forever.
Just keep going. We'll get there eventually.
Finally, now we just go through this level again, which by the way changes the statue to this upper level, and then we beat the same boss we fought last time, moving on to the final stage. But first, remember Miyamoto? Well, no. Unless there is any context in the booklet, you have no idea who this person is supposed to be. Legions of the dead. Stop this intruder who would foil our plans. This would make for a nice boss fight, given there is any information of who this is supposed to be. And it's really the same pattern as the first boss. Now you're at the final stage. This level loads you up with all kinds of abilities to prepare you for whatever these things are supposed to be. The level before the final stage really gives you an ominous feel for what's to come. And then finally, you come face to face with a floating skull man. Admittedly, he's a bit tougher as you have to reflect his attacks back to do some damage. But it's just a slight challenge above the rest, and if you have any to restore health ability left, it's a cinch. With the final boss gone, the gates of the abyss are sealed and Emoto's quest is complete. His legend is known throughout the village eternally.
And that's pretty much it. The game has its flaws, and it's a little anticlimactic, but it's a pretty solid game. The controls feel great, and the overall story is pretty nice. And with that, I'll leave you with this.
Game design by Dino Rider! Hey guys, thanks so much for checking out the video. Did you see that skeleton? That was pretty creepy, right? I hope you have a spooky Halloween and hope to see you next time. Leave me a treat with a subscription and the ring of that notification bell. Keep it practical.